2 weeks out, 2.5 weeks out? How are you feeling?
I feel really good. Way better than last game. Feeling about as good as I can feel on my fifth fight in 8 months.
Yeah, how different has that felt? Because I've been hearing that a lot. A lot of people in their first season don't really realize how difficult it's going to be when you get to this point.
Well, I had like 2 fights right before I even got in the tournament, so I'm feeling it a little extra. But like, just more like focus training, not going balls to the wall all the time. Like that. That helps stuff a lot. And the diets, everything. I've been eating a lot, so that's good. Weight's down, so everything's going like it should.
What about going up against the number one seed? What are your thoughts when you kind of realize that's who you were going to be up against?
Um, I think it's a really good matchup. I think that he's had most of the fights at 85. He's kind of small for 205, but he's good. He's good, but like I don't know. Like that last fight that he had against Monte was kind of like I don't know. Like it's not like he got a first round finish, but was it a first round finish? Like, and that's not anything that like he did wrong. You know what I mean? That's not a knock on him, but like would that have happened? You know what I mean? Like if his knee hadn't gotten messed up, like he still would probably be favored to win, but I don't know if it would have exactly unfolded like that. Um, but I don't think he's gonna do anything that surprises me. So
So I just spoke to him earlier. He kind of had similar opinions about you, kind of felt like the exact words, I want to make sure I'm quoting him correctly. He said you slid through the cracks to get to the playoffs. But he didn't say that that was like it wasn't your fault that that's the way it worked out. Kind of like how you just said his last fight, he got, the TKO, but it wasn't really a TKO. How do you feel about him thinking that you kind of slid through the cracks to get to the playoffs?
I mean, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like what he thinks or doesn't think. It's like, what's gonna happen is gonna happen. But like I was like an unknown guy at the beginning of this year, and like, I think that, not a lot of people had me winning even the first fight against Monte, and then I went out and dominated it. So it's like, what is it? Martin Hamlet's like the dark horse, but I think I'm way more of a dark horse. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really like, yeah, I didn't really have a ton of hype around me, which is fine. You know what I mean? Like less shit to do with the media, like way, way easier fight weeks and stuff. But I think it's good for me, to be honest with you. But like at the end of the day, like it's not really gonna like change much. You know what I mean? Like you're still gonna go out there to win and whatnot. But I would think that too. Like I said, at the beginning of the tournament, I was an unknown. There was a lot of guys that had been there before, a lot of UFC names and whatnot. But of course, half the division got wiped out. So it is what it is.
Do you think people are underestimating you?
Maybe, I don't know. Like they could be, but it's also like I've had like pretty tough matchups. Like if being honest, I think a lot of the guys like I think like, and it's not just like with the light heavyweight division, but I feel like a lot of the guys are. How do you say it? Like they like definitely get more favorable matchups. Like they give Silveira Sam Key, and it's like Sam Key can barely grapple. You know what I mean? Like, and then they give him Monte, which it was what it was, but it's like, I got like a semifinalist from last year, and they were trying to give me the defending champ or like a UFC vet and stuff like that. And it's like, I keep conquering like what guys like they think I'm gonna lose, but I end up winning and ending up on top. So it's good for me. But if they underestimate me, that'll be even better. Like I know I'm going to be in the blue corner against Silveira. I know they probably want Silveira to win. Most people are counting on that, but I don't think it's going to be as close as what people think.
Do you feel like it's going to be kind of a 3 round war back and forth, or do you feel like there's going to be a finish in there?
I'm looking for the finish. I know he's looking for the finish. Like I don't think he's going to be able to knock me out. Like I just seeing what he does, like his striking and stuff like that. Like I've got a pretty good read on that. I know what to expect. I don't think he's going to throw anything out there that I haven't really seen. And then in terms of like on the grounds, I'm a hard guy to sub. Like I've never lost by submission in a fight. I rarely get subs in training, and I've been having guys like I know the subs he goes after. I know the positions. I've been having some of our best guys go on there. a lot of the black belts, brown belts. So I'm really prepared. I know that's what he's going to be trying. I'm going to be looking for the knockout, but also like I'm not afraid to wrestle him. I'm not afraid to go on the ground with him either. I think a lot of guys get scared. You know, he's Conan Silveira's son, and he's good, but it's also like I'm not scared at all to wrestle this guy. I'm not scared if he throws on a sub against me. It's like he's just going to make him more tired trying to defend it.
What about the fact that the fight's in Texas? I know there's been some controversy in the past with the judges and the way they judge in Texas. Been some bad decisions. Are you worried about that at all? Do you consider that when you are game planning?
I mean, the judges everywhere kind of suck, right? I don't think it's just like Texas is really bad, but I mean the judges everywhere. I mean they do kind of suck, but I don't know. I guess I maybe should be more cognizant of that and then be trying to finish the fight and be in good position. You know what I mean? It's like the judges like pay attention to dumb things. So you never really know. It's like my teammate Basil just fought and he lost what I think was a pretty obvious decision. It was him. But it's like we were talking about it today, like the judges kind of look at things and it's like, yeah, sure, Jack was hitting him on the feet, but Basil was also hitting him too. However, it's like if you look at like he was pretty gassed. It was 5 days notice, so it's like he looked worse for the wear, even though he was landing on the feet and had more control time. So it's like you never know what they're going to be looking at. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm gonna be if I'm on the cage, it's like my back's not going to be on the cage. If it goes to the ground, I'm either going to get right back up or make sure I'm the one on top, and I'm gonna have more volume striking. So it's just stuff I have to be aware of. But I mean, it's kind of sad that even has to be a question now. You know what I mean? It's just, but MMA judging is just everywhere. It's just crazy. It's like a bad decision at least every weekend.
How do you feel like that can be fixed?
Probably more former fighters getting into it, but also like I think you need to like revisit the rule set. You know what I mean? Like what are we really looking for? Because it's and like have it be less subjective because if like we're praising like if we're praising like octagon control they always say, but if like one guy's like just taking the center but another guy's on the outside and he keeps getting peppered and hit with shots, it's like yeah sure the one guy's like controlling I guess the pace and whatever, but he keeps getting hit more, so how are you going to score that, right? Like that's a tough one, and it can depend either way. You know what I mean? Like I remember watching a lot of Dominic Reyes fight and he would hang out against the cage a lot, but he would land a lot of shots and he would counter there, and that's how he knocked a lot of guys out. But you see other fights where guys just kind of get bullied. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a little bit subjective, but I think first and foremost, hopefully more fighters get into that. I think it'd be a great way for them to, after they retire, to stay into it. But also, like, you have to revisit the rules. Like, what are we scoring? Probably educate the judges more on grappling, like to see what they're saying. Like, how are we gonna score control time? You know what I mean? Like, if a guy holds a guy down for 2 minutes, like how are we really going to score that? Are you scoring a takedown that's established? But if you take the guy down and he gets right back up, like how are we going to score that? So I think it's something that needs to be revisited for sure. Um, and then again, I think ultimately a lot of it's going to be intuitive, just having more fighters there. But then again, like I said, like we still probably have to revisit the rule set and like really prioritize what we score.
Have you let yourself think about the finals yet? Like who you'd want to see there, who you'd prefer to see there, who you think's gonna make it to the finals?
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, like I really like Impa. He's a cool dude. I would hate to fight him, but like, there's like that weird thing where it's like I'm kind of rooting for him because he's a cool dude. Like I don't want him to lose. On the other hand, like I don't really know Hamlet at all. I don't even know. Like, I guess he speaks English. Like I know he's from Norway or something. But I just think for like style wise, I think it'd be awesome. I think it would be. He's very stiff when he stands up, and like I mean, Silveira knocked him out, and I don't think Silveira is really known for his striking. Um, I just think it'd be such a great way for me to showcase like striking and all of that because he's way stiff. I'm a guy that likes to move a lot. And also, I think he's an Olympian with wrestling, and like I know I could take him down, so that'd be a really cool feather in my cap. Um, and plus two, if I fight him, it could be like a USA versus Europe thing, which could be fun. So
Would you like when you think about where the finals could be, because we don't know yet where they're gonna be, is the location something you kind of get excited about? Maybe it being, like you said, in Europe, it could be New York. Is there somewhere you'd really like to fight that you'd hope that the finals could be?
I mean, other than the taxes, Madison Square Garden would be pretty cool, just because all the greats have fought there. You know, like Ali and Frazier, like all of those guys, Jack Dempsey. I mean, it'd be It'd be really, really cool just to like say you fought in Madison Square Garden because I'm pretty sure they're going there because of what they have like 3 weeks, the whole roster fights, and it's like the first week's in San Antonio, and I think the last 2 weeks are in Madison Square Garden. So I was like, shit. I mean, it'd be cool to say I fought in that historic venue, like that'd be awesome. So Europe, I don't know. I'd like to fight in Europe, but I don't know if I'd want to like go over there for the finals and whatnot. Like it sounds also really cold. Like I'm assuming it's gonna be October, November, so like but at the same time, it's like if I ended up fighting a European guy, like beating him in Europe would be kind of fun. So I get to feel like Rocky.
You want to feel like Rocky?
That'd be nice, like have the American flag, beat Ivan Drago, all that.
So, you were pretty outspoken about all of the drug testing stuff that happened this season. I'm not going to rehash all that again, but I'm curious what you think about the USADA program being implemented now.
I mean, I think it's like a step in the right direction, but like I also like I've said this before, and like I'll preface it by saying like I don't think USADA's bad. Like USADA's really cool. I had a thing with Contender where I had this tainted supplement, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission fucking sucks. Like I'm very adamant about that. Like they suck. I don't like them. But USADA was cool as shit. Like they're just like, hey, like you didn't do anything wrong by our standards. Like we don't think you should be suspended. What actually happened was a different story. But so USADA is really cool. I think they're doing their best. However, I don't think it's like I don't think it's like this perfect system by any means. Like the thing about fighters is that this is me being cynical. So like I'm trying to give them props, but also like I'm definitely still skeptical that there's tons of guys juicing, especially in the UFC, because I have a lot of teammates in the UFC. Like we all talk. Like fighting is one of those things where it's like people, it's not hard to get your name known. Like, you have to go through, you have to be a tough guy, you have to win fights or whatnot, but it's not a huge community. And people start to hear things. When you start to hear like, the same thing again and again about certain people, it's like, well, how are these guys like getting past their drug tests? Like, you know what I mean? So like the biggest thing for me is like how are they testing the foreign fighters and whatnot? Because I don't think it's a coincidence that USADA doesn't really drug test well outside of the US. I mean, it's USADA, United States Anti-Doping Agency, and then now we have all these foreign champions. Like I some of it's definitely skill, but a lot of it I think is, it's a bit of a coincidence, right? I think it's a step in the right direction, but like I said, I don't think it's a foolproof system. I actually had my call this morning, and it's it's like kind of interesting, right? Like the rules they have and whatnot. And I don't know. I still think a lot of guys can get away with it, but I'm skeptical. But props to PFL for trying to do the right thing.
Is it inconvenient for you guys? Because I feel like you guys have to do so much paperwork and then you have to always constantly have that on your mind. Are you worried about that?
Not really, because like I'm not taking steroids, so I don't really care. I don't take like a ton of supplements even. But like for me, it's like I just don't want to be woken up at 5 a.m. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Where it's like even if I was doing steroids, I don't think I make enough money to do EPO, which I think would be like the only reason to like test me at 5 a.m. I don't really care about all of that. It's just more like I just don't want to wake up early to pee in a cup. You know what I mean? Because I'm also going to be a dick too. And the guys are just doing their job. They're being nice, but it's like no one wants to talk to me at 5 a.m.
So, well, I appreciate your time. Good luck. I'll see you in Texas.
Hell yeah.
Bye.
Bye.